On the news at 1, Nigerians react to CBN's rebranding of Naira notes. False report of uncovering explosives at Treadmore Estate. And Nigeria joins the rest of the world to commemorate 30th anniversary of the World Audiovisual Day. A very good afternoon to you and welcome to the news at 1 p.m. on NTA Channel 5 Abuja, the Unity Station. I am Nolin Ebel Ame with the news. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved redesign and circulation of new Naira notes to replace the current ones in line with the global best practices beginning December 15, 2022. Leah Katun Babatunde tells us more.
The Naira redesigning is long overdue as currency management faced several daunting challenges in recent times. The concerns have continued to grow in scale and sophistication, with attendant and unintended consequences for the integrity of both the CBN and the country. Governor Godwin Emefiele itemized the challenges to include significant hoarding of banknotes by members of the public, with statistics showing that over 80% of currency in circulation are outside the vaults of commercial banks. Worsening shortage of clean and fit banknotes with attendant negative perception of the CBN and increased risk to financial stability. Increasing ease and risk of counterfeiting evidenced by several security reports. Crime and criminality is hurting the Naira.
Also, in view of the prevailing level of security situation in the country, the CBN is convinced that the incidence of terrorism and kidnapping will be minimized as access to large volume of money outside the banking system used as source of funds for ransom payments will begin to dry up.
Considering the challenges, President Muhammadu Buhari gave the CBN approval to redesign, produce and circulate new series of banks at 100, 500 and 1,000 Naira. Emefiele instructed all deposit money banks to begin returning the old notes immediately, while the newly designed currency will be released to the banks in order of first come, first served them withdraw the new bank notes once circulation begins in mid-December 2022 and deposits charges have been suspended.
People in our rural areas, even if you don't have a bank account, you should be able to conduct banking services without necessarily having a bank account. How dare you? They will
on the CBN's rebranding of the Naira notes as approved by President Muhammadu Buhari.
I experienced this in 1984 when Naira was changed. Surprisingly, it's still Buhari. Then it was a military junta, but then here is a president that wants to change the Naira again. At the moment, the federal government should be more concerned in revamping the economy than trying to use a lot of money in printing the Naira. If they print new Naira in this old denomination, it looks nice to me. But going to print money again into redesigning and then doing other things, to me is very expensive and should not be the priority at the moment.
I don't think the branding of the money is necessary now. Looking at what Nigeria is passing through.
Wonderfully well for permitting this, because a lot of persons have stolen money and they've kept it somewhere, and I think with this they'll be able to bring out all this money. Secondly, I also think those that have huge amount of money in their accounts, those accounts, the account owners should be called by the CBN or the banks, so they will come and answer questions why they should keep that kind of money and the money is not being to use.
I beg to disagree with what my brother have just said. Looking at what is happening now, Nigerian government have borrowed so much money from CBN, so we don't need to go and start changing currency, the color of currency, or to say because people have looted so much money, you want to start changing the currency. At the point where we borrow this amount of money and people are dying as a result of flood.
What is the cost effect if it's going to incur more problem, more financial problem to Nigeria, I think this is not the right time to start up something like that.
The coins that we are using before, they are no longer exist. We're supposed to go back to our former stake so that things will be working well for us.
Those have been the responses of Nigerians on the streets of Abuja on the policy statement of the Central Bank of Nigeria rebranding the Naira notes. As forensic report says, 80% of currencies in circulation is not from the Central Bank, none from the commercial banks' votes. In Abuja, Serafina Okon Umekwe, NT News.
Necessity, they say, is the mother of invention. This is an African adage that is playing out in Nigeria, where the high rate of unemployment has become a propelling factor, shoving the youth into skill acquisition, which is being applied in the day-to-day activities for survival. In this report, Michael Okondo takes a look at entrepreneurship as a means of curbing unemployment in Nigeria.
Research shows an increase in unemployment in the country as the search for jobs rises on a daily basis. It has also been a teething problem and a major challenge in the country. Most youths graduate from different universities but are unable to get jobs.
Since I learned this computer, I have not faced any unemployment challenge. Even if I'm in the house, I can use my laptop to do my work, then send it. If it's okay by you, we'll print. So I advise every young girls, boys, to go and look for something doing. Stop depending on government or no government, looking for work up and down. Go and use your hand and do something.
Entrepreneurship can help generate finance for the entrepreneurs and generate revenue for the government. There is need to acquire more knowledge to engage in useful activities that will benefit the nation. Director of the FCT Mass Education, Mrs. Ajarat Titilayo Alayende, says there is need for enlightenment and skill acquisition programs for teenagers, youth and university graduates.
When you have such skills, then you can earn money, you don't have to be unemployed because you have to charge for your services. So that is why, plus your certificates, we are encouraging young people. Learn skills that you have passion for.
This, she says, can also help to reduce crime and positively engage youth in the country. Michael Okondo, NTU News.
Against the backdrop of information which made the rounds in some section of the media on Wednesday, alleging arrest of terrorists with explosives in the Trademore Estate, Lugbe, Abuja, residents say the operation by the DSS had nothing to do with terrorists. Correspondent Onotu Yakubu brings a situation update from the estate.
The entire area is peaceful, without cause for worry, as residents go about their normal routine in the Trademore Estates. Fred Okorie is the Public Relations Officer of the Estate Residents Association. In his narration, executives and residents were as well perturbed, like every FCT resident, when the story surfaced in the media alleging recovery of explosives and arms from terrorists in the estates.
If any exhibits were uncovered, we don't know about that. None of the ESCO members knows about that. The DSS just came, carried out their operation and left. They did not display any explosives to us. They just carried out their operation and left.
Right behind me is the gate into the facility where the DSS operatives were alleged to have carried out the sting operation in Trademore Estate here in Lugbe. Now, from the information available from residents that I spoke to, as well as leadership of the Residents Association in the estate, from the time the operation lasted and while they monitored from, of course, the considerable distance they were allowed by the operatives, there were no indications of any confiscation of any substance or even weapons, as was being alleged in the stories that made the rounds on social media. Of course, the aftermath of the operation and resultant fake stories generated fears in the mind of residents, as majorities say they were not even aware of the security operation until the news surfaced. in this kind of thing, somebody is a kind of circular is supposed to be passed. Either remain calm or we're on top of the situation or see, but there is nothing like that.
We are sleeping now with one of our eyes open because we don't know the next thing that is going to happen.
Spokesperson of the FCT Police Command, DSP Josephine Ade, when contacted, advised journalists to contact the DSS as the command cannot comment on the matter. For now, the people say their expectations are that the authorities will take proactive measures to further strengthen the confidence of residents. Onotu Yakobo, NTA News.
Still on security, the current global security challenges coupled with the complex operating environment in which personnel operate necessitated the need for a workshop by the Nigerian Army aimed at developing and improving on the core competencies of personnel. Miriam Emeka Amadi reports.
The Army has the primary function of maintaining the territorial integrity of Nigeria, defending the country from external aggression, among others. This workshop, titled Upholding the Traditional Ethics of the Nigerian Army and Promoting Professionalism and Social Responsibility of the Nigerian Soldiers, is to educate the troops on how to conduct themselves professionally during international and internal operations.
This is something we do as a matter of routine. It's important that we keep reminding of our personnel of their professional responsibility and, most importantly, their conduct during operations and their continuous interaction with other security agencies as well as the populace.
Topics discussed include professionalism and effective collaboration among security agencies, core values of the Nigerian Army, and ethics in relation to the military profession and enhancing professionalism. The training is in line with the Chief of Army Staff's vision of having a professional Nigerian Army ready to accomplish assigned missions in a joint environment in defense of Nigeria. Miriam Emeka Amadi, NTA News.
This is the news at 1 p.m. on NTA Channel 5 Abuja. Time to go on a short break. Still to come on the news, the Amazon's Women Initiative takes sensitization to FCT school. This and more after the break. Stay with us.
Relive your delightful moments via a telecast. Tell the world what gave you your happiness or pains, and for the how, where, and why. Share your joys of coronation, chieftaincy honors, engagement parties, traditional wedding ceremonies, weddings fatiha, nikah, naming ceremony, church programs, housewarming, inaugurations, award nights, school and social events, or moments of grief like burial ceremonies with many others. Don't let your events pass and your story not be told on Memories every Saturday, 7:30 p.m. on this station. Memories, making your events memorable.
Thank you for staying with us on the news at 1 p.m. on NTA Channel 5. Audiovisual materials play a very significant role in the historical well-being of every society. That is why a day like this is used to acknowledge the enormous contributions of archival audiovisual storage for posterity. This year's World Audiovisual Heritage revolves around the 30th anniversary of the establishment of the Memory of the World program.
The World Day for Audiovisual Heritage is a commemoration of the adoption in 1980 by the 21st General Conference of the Recommendation for the Safeguarding and Preservation of Moving Images in a Fast-Changing World. The day provides an occasion to raise general awareness of the need to take urgent measures to preserve and to acknowledge.
Have been most successful.
The world has so advanced in very little time. Now, this thing, it used to be either audio
or you have the visual side there, where people were recording before on tapes, and now it went as far as diskettes, it went as far as flash drives, you have CDs, you have everything. So now in celebrating this, is just to recognize that advancement has come. So as the United Nations has also seen it, it should be something that must be advanced upon again. But before we know where it is going to be, because that is the future of today. So in our own case, I would say we have always been embracing all of these things.
On the day, events are globally held in many countries by broadcasters, museums, libraries and major audiovisual associations, which attracts the media attention to heritage issues and promoting cultural status of audiovisual heritage.
In our own situation, I would say we don't just stay now and be partakers as in participators in the whole process. We have to be seen as creating little institutions, starting from schools like it's done in China and it's done in the US.
And it will also empower the younger generation and also showcase our cultural heritage as Nigeria as a nation. And some of our history will be enacted in the audiovisual sense.
After UNESCO's approval of the day in 2005, the first World Day for Audiovisual Heritage was held in 2007. Through images and sound, audiovisual heritage. This underscores the point that audiovisual archives are a cornerstone of the memory of the world. In Abuja, Abdullahi Ajia, NTA News.
Now, the girl child is priceless and should reports.
The choice school was Government Secondary School, Life Camp, Abuja. The group of women professionals took turns to enlighten the students on the importance of staying focused, obedient, patient, respectful, wise, sincere, polite, with good character and modest sense of dressing.
One of our main objectives is to impact the society. The first objective we have is sisterhood. We share sisterhood. We're women from different walks of life. We need to teach them how to grow up to be women of substance, women of integrity.
The girls also were given tips on infections which can easily cause infertility in women if not treated, as well as menstrual cycle and the need to stay neat and be guided against human trafficking. The students were excited to receive them. Birthed in 2020 by middle-aged female professionals in careers and businesses, the group aims to impact society through charitable programs with a view to giving every Nigerian a sense of belonging. Safia Noma Uche, NTA News.
Let's now join Ifeanyi Ezumba with the Globe this week.